Welcome back to Sports Hub. We're here with Ronan Keogh, the champion Tasmanian jockey. Ronan, how are you today, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Good.
You had a couple of rides on last Sunday in the Derby Day. How did you go with that?
Yeah, pretty average day all round, really. The horse that was supposed to run in the Cup, Alexander of Hales, was very disappointing, so he's not running on Sunday. So, yeah, hopefully this Sunday can be a bit better.
Pulled up a little bit sore after the race. It didn't look like you got a good start with Alexander of Hales, but it just sort of tailed off right at the end, didn't it?
Yeah, no, I couldn't have been happier in the run, just tracking the speed, and yeah, unfortunately he didn't finish the race off at all.
Now, on Hobart Cup Day, Ronan, you've got a couple of rides in the Hobart Cup, starting with race 2, the tote.com.au maiden plate for 3-year-olds, over 1,100 metres, and you're on La D. Is that how I say it?
As far as I know, I haven't ridden it before, so...
As a Terry Rolls? Terry Rolls, have you ridden for him before?
Yeah, I've ridden a few winners for Terry. Had a bit of luck for him. Not lately, but hopefully on Sunday we can get a change of luck.
Okay, so what do you think Ladie's chances are? You're out of barrier 3, carrying 55 kilos. What's she going to be like in the run?
On her last run, she should be right there from that barrier. Obviously, the chances in the race are the top horse, Galipier of the Brunton camp with Guthrie on board, and obviously their horses have got to be followed no matter what. I reckon the horse that Craig Newt is riding in Shroud, she's quite a nice filly from all accounts, and also Royston Carr's horse flew home last start. He was back last at the 400 metres nearly on Sunday last and flew home to finish 4th, so it's obviously a chance too.
And you'll be looking for a bit of improvement from Ladia after its last few starts?
Yeah, looking through its form, it's come from the mainland. It will have to improve, but there was a little bit of encouragement last start, so hopefully if it can go on again, it might run into a place.
Excellent. And we go into race 5 now. You're on Star of Egypt, which was scratched last start. Now, would that be because Tammy Mulross was maybe looking forward to this race rather than the last one?
Yeah, I think so. I'd say when she saw the acceptances and it through barrier 17, she's looking forward to another race somewhere else. But
it's not barrier 17's not good at any course, but certainly at Hobart it's a big disadvantage, isn't it?
Well, there's 14 runners, and when you're in the outside gate, you need a lot of luck. You can't really go forward because you're going to be trapped wide. You got to go back and come through the field, and you got to get all the splits.
Yep.
On her last start, she did way too much work in front. I gave her a little squeeze from the outside gate in Launceston, and she over-raced the whole way. And the run was actually not as bad as it looked because she was right there at the 100 metres and then ran out of puff. So,
do you think Star of Egypt prefers it down here in Hobart as opposed to Launceston?
She won in Devonport. She won her maiden in Devonport and actually beat a horse that has a bit of form in Tango's Gigi, the top horse. So, she's not hopeless. She did completely ignore her last 2 starts. That's once I can get a bit of luck from 17, obviously.
So you think the danger there will be Tango's Gigi, the John Luttrell trains Peter Mertens on board? Yeah,
it's drawn wide. Also, Southlander is always placed. He's got a nice barrier with Maskell on from 7, and Kinski was a good first up run too. So.
All right, moving on to race 7, the Thorpe Industries Class 2 handicap over the 1,400 metres. You're on a very good filly here. She's Tipsy. Now, you're up and about this one, carrying the 54 kilograms. You're coming from, which barrier are you coming from? Barrier 10. A bit better for you, that one.
Yeah, she'll jump from barrier 9. That's assuming the acceptances don't change from what they are. It was a good run last start. The filly's taken an age to get fit. She ran a bottler 2 starts ago and she finished 3rd in Launceston. 1400's more in her distance range. She probably even wants a mile. But there'll be plenty of pace in this race. Fifi's Uncle Max will go forward from the gate just inside me.
Yep.
So if we can get a trail across with that, but I'm going to ride her a little bit quieter than I did last start, and hopefully she'll finish off it.
Now, did you mention Shardu there, the Dean Yendall ridden Gary White trained horse? Have you heard much about that one?
Yeah, it won a maiden last start. It's jumping a class, but obviously Gary wanted to go to 14 instead of 12 with her 11, because obviously he feels it wants more ground. So it'll have to improve, but obviously with Yendall on board, it has a chance, and it won quite well last start.
Yep. Sorry about that. Just get my paper in order. Yeah, I think it's a really good chance, Shardu, in that one. That'd probably be my tip, but I'll definitely be going each way on She's Tipsy with Keogh on board. Now, your last race of the day that you're in, race 9, the Tats Group Thomas Lyons Stakes. That's another one over the 1,400 metres. Here's a horse I fancy, Relentless Pursuit. Young Ronan rode it last time and came flying home for 5th. You're up and about this one, aren't you?
Yeah, look, he's a nice horse. He's probably not at the top, level at weight for age, but he tries really hard. He ran a huge race in the Toad Stakes last start. He had barrier 13 or 14, half missed a kick, probably half a length, which you can't do at that level. Had to go straight to the inside, and I had a nice run through him. But when you're standing horses like Youthful Jack and Motspur up 5, 6, 7 lengths at the 400, you're not going to claw him back when they've gone at an even tempo.
Well, Youthful Jack's a tremendous horse, isn't he?
Well, he's won over 800,000, I think now. He's mixed it with the best of them in Queensland as well. Yep. He's obviously the one to beat.
You're up against other things like the Tassie trained by Troy Blacker, Dream Peddler. Another one ridden by Dean Yendall. That could pose a danger as well, shouldn't it?
Look, I don't think so. I think the horse wants at least a mile. I'd say they're just getting the horse ready with the Launceston Cup in mind. But he could fill a place. I think too many reds didn't stay the journey in Devonport. He was disappointing there after a huge run to Jeezy's Black Flash down here over a mile when he just got collared late after doing a load of work early. He's got barrier 1 with Froggy Newt on board, so he's obviously going to be forward, if not maybe even lead from that gate, and he's going to be hard to run down. And also you have to throw in Life to the Full, who was it was covered up on his last run. It got blocked for a run up the straight in Relentless Pursuit's race that Heartbreak Kid won. Heartbreak Kid is probably a wet tracker. He got all the favours that day going around the inside, but Life to the Full was sort of hard held going to the line, and 1400 is right up his alley. So he's another very talented horse that you have to watch out for.
So maybe a bit each way on that one. And our man David Flash Lithgow, my co-announcer on Sports Hub, he loves his Craig Newitt. So I think he does like too many reds as well in that race. Now, unfortunately, Ronan, you didn't get a ride in the 2 major races of the day, but you're going to give us what you think could be the good chances and who you'd like to ride, probably. The Strut Stakes over the 2100 metres. That's race 6. Who do you like in that one, mate?
Look, obviously the top horse, Gigi Laquita of Stewie Gandy's. It was a huge win last start. Ran reasonably good time. It did get all the favours in front, and it was always going to be hard to run down, but it won it well. And I think 2100 is going to be right up its alley. It's going to stay. Obviously, the Alex McPherson horse, Temper Tantrum, coming over from Melbourne, Reese McLeod on. It was a good win last start. I'm nearly sure it was against the older horses.
Yep.
And not the 62 race over a mile. It looks like staying, and it'll be very hard to beat. You have to throw in Oxy Angel for probably a place. It ran home good last start, and it'll definitely get the journey, I think. Well,
that was Temper Tantrum, Ronan mentioned, Colin McNiff's tip, and that one to watch out for. And then the big one, the Amy Hobart Cup over the 2200 metres, Group 3 level. We've only got 10 runners this year. Why do you think that is, mate?
I think it's just it coincides with the Mornington Cup over in Melbourne, which they've got more prize money over there now, and obviously they don't have to make the trip across the Brass Strait, which probably knocks the horses around. It's
a bit of a hindrance, isn't it? I mean, it's a fairly costly exercise getting a big equine on the plane. It's probably $3,000 or $4,000 to fly it down here. Then they've got to find places for it to stay, and then all the facilities for the trainer and everything like that. So it's not a cheap task. So that would probably contribute to it. Now, if you had a ride in this race, Ronan, who would you like to be on the most?
Oh, geez, Black Flash without doubt. You can't go away, shy away from the horse. He's been magnificent this prep. Right from his first win in the Newmarket Handicap, which was too short for him, and it was a huge win. He got a nice run through him. It was a great ride by Martins, and he's just improved since then. And his run in the Summer Cup with 60 kilos, he went past me as if I was stopped.
One with a leg in the air, carrying a fridge on its back, really.
He hasn't got penalised for it either, which is a huge help. He gets in with 58.5, and at the weight scale, I think the weight scale makes it harder for those. The likes of Mr. Isaac, Success Dosta. They should be getting 8 kilos off a horse like that, really, and it makes it hard for them. But obviously, the top horse is a pretty smart horse, and also the New Zealand horse, Roy de Joux.
Ray de Joux.
Ray de Joux. Sorry, my French has gone a bit. So, but I reckon he's.
Well, I had a look at that Ray de Joux. I just had a look at the video on its last start at Trentham. It looked to come out. No, he lost by a nose to another good hoop, Nash Rawiller. So yeah, it does look all right, doesn't it?
I will. Maskell's, obviously he's been around down here for years. He's won all the big races. I think it's probably a plus for the horse because he knows Elwick so well that he's riding it.
Yep.
And New Zealand's staying form is I think
Holds up pretty well.
it does. It does. It has to. Like, they've been bringing over imports for the Melbourne Cup for years now, and they always seem to go well. A lot of New Zealand bred horses are running well over here. So
now another one that we've got in there, one that you rode last start, or maybe not last start, but in the Devonport Cup, Mr. Isaac. I watched a video of that, and you came round very wide down the outside and came home like a low-flying aeroplane. Just run us through Mr. Isaac.
Look, the plan that day was to ride him quiet. I got absolutely no luck at the bottom of the straight when I needed a few splits, and I had to come around him. The horse ran huge. He probably should have finished second or third. I don't know whether he would have beaten the winner, but the only thing is his form has been superior on the cushion track up in Devonport to beat a surface. So if he can reproduce that down here on the grass, he'd have a smoky each way chance. But I still reckon he's a fair few lengths off the top class horses.
Well, he is paying $101 on Better Sport, so you probably think that's a fair price for him.
Well, no, look, he's going to go around, and he could easily sneak a place, but he hasn't got the class of the likes of Gigi's Blackflash, I don't think, or the New Zealand horse. So, they've got group form. Also Michael Moroney's horse and Viking Hero. He's got group place form, and the top horses won group races. So. Yep.
Now, from here, Ronan, we've got the Oaks Day up in Devonport Wednesday week, and then on to the Oaks Day up in Launceston, and then on to the Launceston Cup. What are your plans for those meetings?
I've got no real standouts, to be quite honest. This year's been a bit lean with injury and so on and so forth. It's took me a long time to get momentum up. Like last year I was flying, but that's just part and parcel of this game. You just got to keep trying.
Now, I saw you just go for your shoulder then, because that's obviously what you injured. Now, another top hoop in Tassie, Brendan McCool, he's obviously got a shoulder injury. What do you think be going through his mind at the moment? Like, it's probably the cream of the crop this time of year for hoops in Tassie. He'd be fairly down, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, like I was right beside him when he hit the deck up in Launceston, and I was a bit worried for until I got back to see he was sitting up, because he hit the ground very hard. It was fortunate, and he only broke his collarbone. If an injury can be fortunate, because it was a pretty nasty fall, and he works. He's very dedicated. He works hard all year round, and this is the time when he wants to be riding more than anything. Exactly. And he's got to sit at home and watch it. But I say it happened to me last year when I was going really well in the Apprentice Series, just before I came out at the end of my time, and sitting on the sidelines when there's horses going around that you would have been riding, it hurts. Yeah.
Ronan Keogh, thank you for joining Sports Hub today, and all the best for the rest of the carnival.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, mate. Cheers.